Welcome, boys. We're back. It's been a long time, like a full season since I've done one of these lengthy power rankings chats, reviewing all your teams, going over all the ins and outs of the moves you've been making, talking about your individual matchups, and really just shitting on everyone's team, except for those near the top who've been doing so great in this 2020 COVID environment. So we'll call this the roughly 1/3 of the year power rankings. Start at the bottom. There's got to be no surprise here. Drew, the ghost of Hugh Jackson, seems to be haunting Drew's team this season. Kenyon Drake, Leonard Fournette, Edelman, they've all hurt his chances of improving his dismal 1-4 record. This week against Sean, he's going to have a long road to hoe, being a 23-point dog, and Sean doesn't even have a kicker in right now. You know it's bad when you're starting the Giants defense. So Drew, we appreciate you being in the league and your contributions, but your team's not very good, as we discussed recently. Number 11, Tom Knowlton. With an abysmal 586 points so far this season, Tom is at the bottom of the league in scoring. Starting DeAndre Swift and a third-string CeeDee Lamb with no Dak Prescott. Now, it's not all his fault. Christian McCaffrey went down early, and hopefully he can come back and salvage some point of the season, but it's got to be soon if he wants a chance at the playoffs. Number 10, your commissioner, Ian, my team, taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire with the number 5 overall pick. Maybe not the best decision I've ever made in fantasy. Bringing Le'Veon Bell in to take carries for him. It's not exactly a ringing endorsement of the performance he's had thus far this year. Banged up Odell and Keenan Allen. Probably neither of them are probably going to make it through the season. I did have a good pick with Diggs, but I think it's a long road ahead, though. I think I got a pretty good chance this week to get a win against Alex. Number 9, Paul Cappiello. Paul has a solid squad. Number 2's at every position. He had the Cook injury and replaced him right away with McKinnon. Next man up should help him out and continue to score in the upper half of the league. Should be improving his record this season since he has one of the highest points against, so that's working against him, but that tends to balance out over time. We'll see if the trend continues against the paper tiger that is Tony Cappiello's team. A battle of the Cappiellos. Speaking of Tony, number 8. Don't let his 3-2 record deceive you. He's tied with Tom with 586 points for the season. That's the lowest in the league. A flurry of trades across the league in an attempt to bolster his roster doesn't seem to have made much of a difference. Can the paper tiger keep the train rolling and move his way up the list? We'll find out this week at the Cappiello Throwdown. Number 7, Sean Moore. Sean Moore comes in at number 7. His running backs may be a patchwork quilt of retreads like Deontay Freeman and Washington Huskies hero like Myles Gaskin playing for the Dolphins. But he's weathering the Eckler injury just like he is ranked in this power rankings, slightly below average. Number 6, Chapin. The reigning champ slide to mediocrity has been driven by a big Devontae Adams injury and another round of sad running backs, unable to tote the rock further than a walk from our room to Shrives's in Bellarmine Hall. With Adams back in the lineup, look for a win this week against Tom's lowly franchise. Number 5, Goodrow. This league's longtime bridesmaid, never a bride, is looking at another drunk hookup at the end of the season this year. Having Hopkins as the number 1 wide receiver will help keep this crew above water. But the second team duo of T.Y. Hilton and 90-year-old Adrian Peterson will be a big challenge this week against Pat Mahomes and the Chubless Chubbers. Number 4, Alex Newgard. Going from Dak to Andy Dalton won't be a big drop-off, right? He's got half the Raiders on his roster and is still 4-1. Maybe a tough road from here on out with Julio hurt, the Red Rocket, and relying on the consistency of somebody named Laviska. Still don't know how to say that. But the record speaks for itself. He's 4-1, so that puts him in at number 4. Moving to number 3, Marcus. The king of valuable keepers has scored the second most points in the league thus far, including an impressive 184 last week. Mahomes, Henry, and Calvin Ridley. Enough said. If Chubb can come back strong, we may see the return of the 3 rings. Number 2, Paul Shrives. I can't believe I'm saying this, that Paul Shrives might have learned how to play fantasy for the first time ever. He's got the number 1 running back in Kamara, a revived Rodgers, and 2 number 1 receivers in Mike Evans and Kenny Golladay. They've propelled Paul to within 35 points of first place. Now, will the Gurley wheels fall off at some point this season? Time will tell. But it's a great, hot start for the man from Montana. And now, we move to number 1. No surprises here. Nick Haley. Of course, Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the league. Why did he get him at 70th overall? It was a great steal of the draft. Doubling him up with DK, he would have won just about every $1 million DraftKings fantasy contest every week this season. Throw in Zeke and the impossibly good rise of James Robinson on the Jaguars, and Nick is knocking on the door of another deep playoff run. Remember when you almost didn't play this season? That would have really helped out the rest of this league because you are putting it to us. Nick's number 1. We've all got some work to do. Let's cancel some more games, get some more Tuesday night football. You know, it's just 2020. And that's all we got for this week. Commissioner out. Here's your third of a season power rankings.